Sup, motherfuckers? You wanna look cool as fuck this Halloween? Well, hop on over to the Drunken Atheist Studio Teespring store and pick up our new Halloween design. Link in the description. Go off to you, scream, piss off, screw you when it talks to you, and you don't know all it tells you you're in the battlefield. Knock knock with the devil in shotgun, pick balance in the felt pit. Knock fuck around and catch a hot one, you get tapping in, I'm not done. Big cannabis, the thoughts spun like no rapping, you just carting them. I get all high, but I think I smell something about I make a rule, I screw it to hell with it, I went through hell with acceleration, blew up myself again. Volkswagen, Jasmine, fuck it, man, just my bills. Crazy getting still feel like a hubcap, then one flat big strangler attack. So this angular feel like a love tap. Deep angular girls for the blood track, like put the names of the bill, then a cup catch. Do the car in the reverse of the Indian, not fashion in the other back. They just mangled till my Mustang. Ain't shit till I can't taste it. Chased it with straight nigga, then bake it, and then drink my fate and wait that it ain't gonna take anything that time in the shape that I'm hating. To face the demons, I'm running to you, they're chasing me. All you to escape me is impossible. I latch on to you like a knock knock with the devil in shotgun, pick balance in the felt pit. Fuck around and catch a hot one, it gets tapping in, I'm not done. Big venomous, the thoughts spun like no rapping, you just carving them. I said knock knock with the devil.
I got a lot of shit to say today, so you know what? Let's just jump into it. How about it? Today we're going to be talking about two movies. One being The Predator, directed by Shane Black, and the other being the Sony motion picture based off the Marvel character Venom, titled Venom. We're going to see which one I hated less, essentially. You'd almost call it like, what's the best of the worst out of the two? But I can't call it best of the worst for obvious reasons. Up first is Shane Black's The Predator.
Do you know what my job description is? I'm in acquisitions. I look up and I catch what falls out of the sky.
Shane Black's The Predator is like if the movie Terminator Genesis and Independence Day Resurgence fucked and had an abortion. It's a fucking awful clusterfuck of nonsense. Feels like it was just buried in reshoots. It's really like, it starts off dumb and kind of fun, and then you're kind of on board with it, but then it gets to the point where it gets so bad that it's unwatchable and unenjoyable. It starts off pretty corny but interesting enough, and then it gets up to this hospital scene where they have a captive predator, like real old school animatronics and everything, no CGI. In this lab sequence where he slaughters a bunch of people, and then it's basically all downhill from there. Shortly after that, they replace him with a completely CGI bigger predator, which doesn't look good at all. He looks like a fucking video game character, and it's a completely over reliance on CGI. I don't know what is going on with this fucking movie. The Predator is so bizarre. You could tell, I mean, there was word out that they had to do reshoots because test audiences didn't respond well or whatever. But I would rather watch a movie that test audiences didn't respond well rather than a movie that doesn't make any fucking sense and is just like irritating to the fucking mind. That's what The Predator was like for me. So we get this group of mercenaries who end up together, and they're all cool as characters on their own, but yeah, instead of them doing cool stuff and doing action stuff, it's just that it's like feels like Shane Black trying to do almost Josh Whedon type quips. They, instead of going out and being in suspenseful situations, they're sitting around and they talk. No shooting or fighting, just talking. The Shane Black quips, while very Whedon-esque with an edge to them, they were extremely hit or miss, and you have to spend a lot of time sitting through scenes where it's just like, oh, they're just going back and forth, and just like, I came here to see a fucking Predator movie, and we're watching these. There's one comedian in the room, and then there's like 5 other people in the room, and Shane Black coaching them. Just like, shit. All their character motivations are unclear between these mercenaries. Like, why didn't they split off into different groups? Why are they all hanging out with each other? And who cares about? It's like they all die at the very end. It's like, whatever. This movie feels like really falsely advertised, because like you walk in expecting one thing. It's like, we got Jake Busey. Jake Busey's in it. It's like, Jake Busey's in it for 2 seconds. And they don't even mention the connection to Gary Busey in Predator 2. Even though Predator 2 definitely exists within this movie. Also, Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem also exist in this. I guess this Predator movie is not canon with any alien stuff, because the Alien vs. Predator stuff is not canon with the alien stuff, and the alien stuff is also crap now. Does anyone see Alien Covenant? Check out my review. But anyway, yeah, it's just it's a fucking mess. Since we're talking the Jake Busey thing, that's the best scene in the movie, is where they go to the lab, where they have a real Predator, not CGI, strapped down, and then he breaks out and he fucking kills everybody. And that was awesome. Everything else is very unpredator. It sucked. If a Predator did this, drop your weapons. Very Predator. Like, why would he ask them to drop weapons? Why wouldn't he just like shoulder cannon everyone dead? I thought it was super great that they included this new thing into the franchise where you could have Predators speaking in subtitles. That's perfect. That really matches up with the suspense of the franchise. The suspense that those movies are supposed to bring out in you. Having Predators talking to each other with subtitles. Brilliant. Very good. And what's even better than that is that they bring out this Mars Attacks fucking machine that translates the Martians' voices.
Don't run. We are your friends.
And then, right close to the finale, instead of like a scene where it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger going like, instead of that, we get like the main character badass of the movie acting like Jennifer Love Hewitt at the end of I Know What You Did Last Summer 1 and 2, being like, I'm right here. You wanna fuck with me? I'm right here.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
We get to the climax of the movie where it's just the big dumb giant Predator. It's like Alone in the Dark. It's like Uwe Boll, like this really, this scene at the climax really remind me of Uwe Boll, because it's just all people standing in pitch black, firing machine guns at this shitty CGI thing, and nothing affects him. It's just all bouncing off him like, no, nothing hurts me, man. And then he just slowly like rips people apart. It's like awful. This isn't fucking Predator. This ain't Predator. It sucks. Everyone's shooting him with the machine guns, but then like 2 minutes later, like right after that, the guy has a handgun. He shoots him right in the mouth and it fucking chops half his face off. It's like nothing makes sense. It's awful. It's just so bad. Oh, and the last thing I want to talk about, all my notes are on this paper plate. The Predator dogs. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was up with the fucking Predator dogs? There was the one there that's like, they killed the one, and then there's the other one. It's the same thing. It's like Uwe Boll, and it's like, I don't know if Shane Black's like trying to make thing like everyone's standing in a line shooting at a thing, but they're on a football field. They're not in the jungle, and they're all just standing there shooting at this Predator dog, which is useless, who actually makes real dog noises, like real earth dog noises. It's not like those badass Predator dogs from Predators 2000 whatever, forget about it. These worthless dogs who don't do anything, and there's a point where they're all shooting machine guns at this dog, and he's just like sitting there taking it, like not doing anything, and then this guy walks, one of the mercenaries walks up to him, puts his handgun to his head, and shoots it, and just goes like, and I was just fucking sitting there in the theater. I'm like, am I on fucking mushrooms right now? It's like, did they just fucking kick in? I'm like, what is fucking happening? Nothing makes sense. This movie had like this full budget, huge director, and it's like the inexcusably bad. I don't know if Shane Black intentionally made a parody film of the entire Predator franchise and just everything that he doesn't take seriously, but mission accomplished if he did. It was a semi-funny romp that can't wait to forget. Kant in part 2. So basically, the story is essentially there's global warming, so the world might end, and then like the predators, if it's more warm, they like hotter weather, so they don't care about global warming. So they're waiting for us to heat up the earth, and they're going to take it over. But first, they have to kidnap a child with autism to bring to the predator planet, because autism, about the autism, you have to take the autism, you have to take out the spine and skull, like in the first Predator movie. Remember when the Predator took out the spine and the skull? You have to take out the spine and the skull of the person with autism, and then you take out the autism juice out of their spine, and then you use that to evolve predators into super predators. And that is the plot of, oh wait, I forgot. I mean, the bad predators want to do that. They want to kidnap the one little boy with autism to bring him back to Predator Planet to take his autism juice out of his spine to evolve the predators into even more super predators. But the first predator who showed up on Earth, the one who killed like 80 people, he was here to save the human race. And that's why he launched out a pod out of his spaceship that said Pod 3 in plain old English. It wasn't even in Predator language. It said Pod 3 in English. And you know what was inside of that? The predator who came to save us? One Iron Man-esque suit that makes you look like a predator. The suit even has dreadlocks. So it's not even just that. It's a predator suit. It's a suit that attaches to a human being and makes them look like a predator. But it also has this sticks hanging off your shoulders that have 2 machine guns on each side. This is the fucking movie that they did to follow up Predators. Oh my fucking god. Oh. Yeah, nothing makes sense.